As the pandemic began last March, school districts scrambled to find socially distant options for learning.
It's still not easy,
For Missouri mom Megan Kelley, the road has been a rocky one. While concerned over COVID, she still decided to send her 2 children to a hybrid in-person experience.
They do not do well in isolation. So it was more for their mental health than anything that we wanted to provide them.
But now both kids are back at home virtually learning.
Numbers of infections started going back up, and within 3 weeks, we were back home fully virtual until January.
Experts say the impact of virtual learning is already hitting the education world.
One thing that we have seen is that our best estimate was essentially that students would make about 65% of the normal learning gains in reading, but more like 40 to 50% of the usual learning gains in math. And so that's clearly pretty big relative to a typical year.
Virginia's largest school district has an 83% increase in F grades. In Austin, Texas, 25% of students are failing at least one subject. And Iowa's Department of Education recently announcing a drop in literacy for its youngest students.
The learning loss that occurs when students aren't in school can be more pronounced for some of the students who are lower achieving to begin with.
Many parents angry over school closures, as the CDC says that despite initial fears, schools are not a major source of transmission. But Kelley says she prefers her children at home, as the many unknowns of COVID has her unsure.
My preference would have been to keep them home. Research could also easily be interpreted as they have almost exactly the same infection rate, except they're primarily asymptomatic, so they just keep running around sharing all their little adorable germs, and nobody knows because they're fine.